All right, so let's show how to disassemble a Profi Darth Maul. First thing you want to do is you want to loosen all these little buttons. You can see I've gone ahead and done that. And then sometimes your chassis will get stuck on these little buttons here. There are 3 of them on the ones that I sell. These are just in case you wanted to use a different chassis and slide this one out to have like a 2-button setup or something like that. Right now I'm still working on doing that for my own stuff, but it is something that you can do in the future. So one of the things that can get in the way is these little pins here. I just got to grab a wrench. I've kind of forgotten about that. You got to take your blade out. You never want to try to take your blade, try to take this part with the blade in because it can mess up the little pins there. But then you got to put these back down so that the little claws here can get out of the way. All right, next step, we're just going to unscrew this. You may notice a little bit of material coming off the sides there over time. If you just do this repeatedly, that's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. It's not in a critical spot where removing just a little tiny bit of plastic right there will hurt anything. And that's how you get to your Profi. Now, when you're putting it back in, you want to be careful to make sure that this little piece right here doesn't slide back at all, because sometimes it can make it to where your battery doesn't make contact anymore. So just make sure that this negative terminal right here doesn't get pushed back. It's rare that that happens, but once it does happen to a chassis, it can be an issue that you just need to be aware of and make sure it's not doing that. Now when you put it back in, you want to make sure that you tighten everything back the way that you got it. And I start with this middle pin here, and I make sure that I don't get unaligned from my recharge port while I'm doing this. Screw those back in. And then this final one right here, the chassis shouldn't be making contact with it, so you can screw that down all the way if you choose to. Or you can even remove that one if you wanted to. And then don't forget to tighten back down your buttons. Just fingernail tightness is where I do it. My fingernails are very short, so make sure that you don't over tighten those or try to put like a wrench or screwdriver in there, because you're going to end up scratching your hilt. I have one hilt that is scratched up right now, and that's the reason for it. So just tighten those all down, and just remember that these buttons can catch your chassis if you try to slide it back out again, even if these buttons are off all the way. So make sure that these buttons are part of the key. Sorry, my dog's out there. She's requesting to come back in. I'll get right to her. But yeah, you can pretty much get the idea of how to put it back together. It all just goes back on the way it came out. So let's just finish it, just because this video is actually going pretty smoothly for doing it on a phone with one hand. Make sure you don't cut yourself on these little claws here. I haven't done it before, but I had my first customer tell me that they managed to get themselves a little bit with those, so definitely be careful. And that's it.